Audi SQ2. Let's go! Here to the Audi Q2 in the front, you usually have LED as option for a Q2, but the SQ2 has those LED lamps, and of course, and also with the LED daytime running light. This is an exactly standard, so well, I can think we can expect it for that extra price you have to pay. Then it also has this big front grille, which is also standard for the Q2, but then again with a special SQ2 shape, a little bit more dramatic, a little darker, and also a stronger lower bumper in this case. The length is at 4.21 meters, 13'8" or 165 inches, and usually this Audi SQ2 comes with 18-inch wheels. Those ones are the optional 19-inch wheels, the biggest ones you can get. And usually for a Q2, 16-inch would be base, for example. And also you can get normal suspension, a sport suspension, and an adaptive suspension for a normal Q2. Here with the SQ2, it automatically only comes with a sport suspension, which is 20 millimeters lower. So no adaptive suspension choice. The design in the rear, I think, to me is clear and modern. Also with the signature here for the rear LED, SQ2 badge. And in the lower part here, you get a contrasting lower bumper together with real exhaust pipes. So unlike the all-new Audis, this one here is still the real deal. The engine for today, yay, hydraulic strut, is a 2-liter TFSI with 300 horsepower, so turbo petrol engine, and 4.8 seconds is the acceleration figure to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. All-wheel drive, because it's a front-wheel driven platform, it is front plus rear on demand. But of course with this performance car, yeah, you will have a lot of power also transported to the rear wheels. Of course, maximum is 50-50, distribution more is not possible. S entry badge together with nice SQ2 floor mats and also those aluminum pedals. And look at the ambient lighting right here at the inside there of the cover, and also with some leatherette covering right there. It's good for your niece. Then, well, not for your nephew or for niece, but your knees of the legs. Then here, the red rings around, nice accentuations, virtual cockpit we have inbuilt right there, SQ2 steering wheel, perforated sides. Yeah, that should also come in leatherette or Alcantara, that would be better. Then red contrast stitches already right here, and the SQ2 already comes with sport seats base. That means a little bit more shoulder support at the sides. The base version, however, would be fabric on the inside and some leatherette and animal skin parts on the outside, or with Alcantara on the inside. This one here is the Porn Red edition of the full animals skin equipment, which is extra again in price. And indeed, it's a little bit easier to get inside here in this SUV, and you sit more upright, more comfortable, so that could be a reason to go for this one instead of an S3. Now the interior overview, a very clean layout. That one then again is soft touch, red rings around the vents, also with nice clicking sounds, and nice clicking sounds here also for the metal knurled controls of the climate unit, easy to reach while driving. I like that. The drive select also placed right there. That's cool to change the driving modes, not like, you know, all the way down. That's cool. Ambient lighting here also in this quattro area. That's also nicely done. Then again, a very compact steering wheel. The virtual cockpit is optional. The head-up display, which is not projected to the windscreen but is on a separate plexiglass layer, is also an option. There you can see it then popping up. You can activate or deactivate it. And then this 8.3-inch screen, which is then, so to say, popped up, and you can also just shut it off, but you cannot retract it. And here, this one is not touch, so you control it here with the lower part, but you get along with it actually quite well. Soon more details to that. Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connection is available. And then in the lower area you have a USB connector, that one can also be used for the CarPlay connection, 12-volt power supply. Cup holders not adaptive, but you know, they somewhat have the right size. And here again, the head-up display. It's good that you have the stuff more in your line of sight than the normal virtual cockpit. Here, the check engine light will disappear when you start up the engine. It's just a sign that the light itself is working. You can change the views right there, but you also have a GPS view, then either full way or just on the left side, so pretty flexible, and they are still among the leading one in this business with this system. Now more details to the infotainment system. This is the main menu. You click it all the way through with the central knob. Apple CarPlay can be reached right there, and the sound system is actually nice. So good surround sound here by the optional Bang & Olufsen system. Really like that. And then when you want to go to the GPS, well, putting it in a classic way is somewhat hard and too complicated, but when you put it in like this, with writing here with the letters, then it's actually quite easy. So that could be the best solution for this one here. And as for the rear compartment in this vehicle, it's not a long vehicle, but definitely the thing is, you cannot fit in the rear here. So at least if you're a tall driver and then you got someone tall next to you, so that doesn't work knee room wise. You're totally hitting it. When you don't have the glass roof, it works as for the headroom. Can still put a hand over my head, but you know, that's the limitation of this car, and that would be better. For example, in the Q3, opening the hatch, you can use this SQ2 badged key, yeah, with the button right there, or under the Audi rings. And what we have here, so yeah, somewhat square dimensions. Put in some luggage right here. We can also put it like this. It still works under the cover. Welcome guys to Thomas's driving lounge with the Audi SQ2, and we will put that thing to dynamic mode. We'll also turn off the EC in the first stage, and then we can do some funny stuff for sure. There's no one behind us. We hit the brakes fully hard and we push the throttle full through. So that's the launch control from 0 to 190. Couldn't push it all the way through 100 for that reason. Yeah. Others overtake on the right then. That's surely also not the best solution. Well, whatever. But I think you can, you know, get a really good sense of how this car is capable to accelerate, and due to this all-wheel drive, also very harmonious acceleration, although it's really harsh. So this is of course here a front-wheel driven platform. So that means we also get then the rear-wheel drive on demand, and of course when we hammer it all the way through, then we have a lot of power on the rear wheels, maximum 50-50. And yeah, I mean, the acceleration figure, as I told you earlier, is below 5 seconds to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour, and this is really like, you know, a small racing bee for sure. So I really have a lot of fun accelerating with this car, also in between, and you've seen also an acceleration not only from standstill, also in the higher region. Although it's just a 2-liter displacement engine due to the 300 horsepower, still got a real good boost right there. Then we can also go back to the auto mode, that it's, you know, what you would leave on usually also, being on the motorway and stuff. And dynamic mode of course boosts up the gears mainly, so RPMs go high, but you can also do it with the S shifting mode. When you just turn the shifting lever, then you also have the very same effect. And of course you can also use shifting pedals to go down a gear or up again and hold them on the right to go back to the auto mode. Now when we're in this tunnel, you can also see a little bit more how the car looks like at night, also with the ambient light and so on. And well, it's always a good good chance to turn down the window and then accelerate some more. Yeah, I mean the sound is not super loud. It's still a Q2, so it's not like, you know, really rolling 6-cylinder or 8-cylinder sound. So But of course, you know, a little bit more spice than you would usually have with this car, that's clear. In this case, the dynamic mode does not change anything from suspension because, as I told you earlier, this car here has the fixed sport suspension. As long as it's very even here from the road, and I'll soon have another acceleration for you, of course, it's all good, definitely. So it's a lot of fun, and although it's not a big car, it's a real nice Autobahn vehicle. How is the acceleration when we are already at speed from the smaller engine? Also in dynamic mode again, let's go. And that's 200 kilometers or 125 miles per hour. Really impressive again, very confident. And maybe you picked it up at very first, it's no turbo lag what's happening there. The car shifts down first. So even in the dynamic mode it goes quite fastly in the higher gears. So if you want a more spontaneous acceleration, even in dynamic mode, then shift down yourself here with the shifting pedals. And so when I go back to the gears here, see then now how there's direct acceleration then. There it is, see? So that's nothing with turbo lag or nothing or something. It's more like the car needs time or like half a second to shift down the gears. So that's more about it. Very interesting, definitely. So much fun to drive this car around the motorway, and also of course in winding corners and stuff. Look at that, when I'm doing a lane change here, this is amazing. And still have to remember we are in the crossover or we're in a compact SUV, and it doesn't feel like that. So on the one hand, I have more comfort than in the, for example, Audi RS3. I have a more upright seating position, can relax a little bit more, and I do not get back pain after 2 hours of motorway ride. And on the other hand, I still have the agile feeling, and I don't miss any sports characteristic. And now to our conclusion for today with the Audi SQ2. From the exterior, likable and sporty. I think the mix of sportiness and crossover-ish still works, definitely. Also here in this quantum gray color. But we've also seen that nice blue in this, passing by of the other Q2 in the driving part. The interior, high build quality, really nicely done, and also all the controls, so everything worked together. I think absolutely flawless, really cool. Yeah, a little bit less space in the rear compartment there for the rear passengers. That's maybe the only thing that is lacking for this vehicle. And that really cool. As for the interior, also a little bit less animal skin would definitely do better. Audi is slightly improving there, but just very slowly. Driving, really flawless. Yeah, adaptive suspension could have been cooler, and consumption should be lower if you keep it a little bit, calmer. Other than that, so much fun, so agile, great steering setup, awesome performance. So definitely such a fun car, and it works to combine this sportiness with a small SUV. You still have a very agile feeling, and not a compromise if you compare it, for example, to an Audi S3. So you still have this full sports performance. At the same time, you have a little bit more comfort and upright seating position. So I think that's also a good mix. Yeah, but at the end of the day, such a high price for this very car, as I just told you, and at the end of the driving part, that is again something you have to swallow then in this case. What's your take? Please give me your feedback. Also tune into more related videos, which are also linked in the video description or in the pinned comment. And I also hope to see you next time. So great always to have you here.